Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you and you and you. Guys, welcome to the Melanated Way. I'm Linda Antwi. We are covering the Family Chantel. You should be thanking me. Season 4, episode 6. What up, Crystal? Hey, C Cruz. Hey, girl. Hey. Housekeeping, bottom of the screen. You can support the show. Super chat and super stickers are available. I encourage you to use them. All right, let me just tell you, I'm so happy that Mama Karen's involved. I know Chantel does not want Mama Karen to be involved, but we need some rhyme and reason to this. My heart is breaking for Pedro and Chantel. I honestly did not think that this couple, after so many years, would go to crumbles and pieces so quickly. And in my opinion, Pedro has completely done a 360. I don't know who this Pedro is, but this new Pedro is, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this attitude. I'm not a fan of him just talking shit all the time. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't know who this new guy is. You got a career and a little bit of coin, and now your attitude is stinky. Not a fan. So River and Karen head over to pay Karen's hijo. Because you know how Karen, when she speaks Spanish, she speaks it slowly. I love it. So she's going to pay her hijo a visit because she wants to know what the hell is going on. And if Pedro is treating her daughter terribly, then Pedro's about to get his little ass kicked. And I was like, go ahead with your gloves on, Karen. Make it happen. She gets there. She's like, where's my daughter? And he's like, oh, she's at work. And River's like, well, what's going on? She came over here last night to my place. And I don't understand. Like, she didn't say anything, but I knew she was upset. And Pedro's like, it is not your business. I was like, oh, Pedro, we're back to square one. You came this far with the Family Chantel. You even said in your own words that you chose the Family Chantel over your own family. And now this is your attitude, and this is the new Pedro that we're going to see, is that you're just going to talk shit to everybody because you're angry because of what? And no one knows because you haven't used your words. But instead, you're going to tell Mama Karen that Chantel's lazy for cleaning and that you need to push her all the time. And what did Mama Karen say, y'all, that I've been saying for the past 5 weeks? Go ahead and get yourself a cleaning service. She said it a little bit different. She said get a maid. I don't know if that's politically correct in 2022, but get yourself a cleaning service. Get yourself a cleaning person and problem solved. 5, like she said, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. If it needs to be as pristine as you want it to be, then go ahead and get a cleaning service. What's the problem? And Pedro's like, oh, we don't need a cleaning service. If Chantel can't take care of the house, can you imagine her trying to be like a parent, a mother? If she can't do the house, she's not going to be able to take care of the kids. And I was like, oh, Pedro, like, you're so Stone Age right now. And you guys are both in your careers, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're both in your careers right now. You're brand new 5 minutes into your career, and you're acting like Chantel does not work hard and has not worked hard over the past few years through COVID. Hi, Raydella. Sending love your way. C. Cruz says he's completely checked out of the family. Crystal says, I agree with River, though. It might have been a better conversation if it was just the two of them. Yeah, I think they could have had a man-to-man conversation. However, I don't think River has that same experience as Karen does. Karen's been married for how many years? So, if you want to talk about longevity in a relationship, longevity in a marriage, whether you think Mama Karen is, too nosy or not, she does have experience, though. She knows what she's talking about, right? So I'm not sure if there was any wisdom that River could have given Pedro, considering Pedro's attitude is super stinky. Do you know what I mean? So Pedro goes on to say, when Chantel was in school for the last 5 years, that he feels like he did everything. Now it's his time. He feels like she should do everything for him. What he's forgetting is that Chantel's also in a career and has been in a career for longer than he has for his 5 minutes. And, I just think like he needs to just calm all the way down. That's what I think. I think he needs to calm all the way down. Hey, Dustin, I think that his attitude is terrible. And that's the majority of the problem. It's not the cooking, the cleaning, all of that stuff. Yeah, maybe those are things that bother him, but to his core, you guys, like C. Cruz said, he's checked out. He's checked out of his relationship, and he's using all of this other stuff. Hey, Nisi, for an excuse. Excuse me, an excuse to just be mean and terrible and rotten to his wife, forgetting that his wife is the one that has supported him his whole American dream. And then so Karen puts a little dig in. Karen's like, well, she got you this home and she doesn't necessarily have to clean all 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. I mean, there's a way around that. And Pedro's like, we got the house together. Whatever. That's it. So they leave. He's all pissed off, and he's so pissed off that when he shuts the door, he kicks the door. Did you guys notice that? And again, I was like, "Oh, Pedro, you're not only acting like a child, you're like acting like a child that's having a full-on tantrum, and you don't know how to use your words to communicate, like as if you were an adult." Um, Petty Pedro, facts, Petty Pedro. So Thomas and Karen are really concerned. They're like, they need to go to marriage counseling. Marriages take work, as they do. And, there's ebbs and flows in marriages. And we talk about that on my show all the time. And I just think that either they're going to go to marriage counseling, Thomas and Karen are like, or they can come talk to us, whatever it is, they need to fix this because obviously they're not in a good place. Get to the Dominican Republic. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, y'all. Nowhere in this episode, okay? Nowhere in this episode does Nicole really want to break up with Alejandro. And even if you guys watch the part where Nicole like slapped the flowers out of Alejandro's hand, I paused it there and he was laughing. It was like that was a whole stage scene as far as I was concerned. These two are not broken up. I don't care who, what, where, why, when. I don't care what anyone says. They're not broken up. Her stupid excuse that her mom hates him and Pedro hates him and that's why she's not taking him back is outrageous to me, to be honest. It's outrageous. It's outrageous because you don't really want to break up with him. You even said in this episode that you would take him back had your family not been in the middle of things. So when is it that you're going to stand on your own 2 feet and do what you think is best for you in your life? I get that family is important and they have a big influence in our lives, but the simple fact that I think that Nicole and Lydia have a really weird codependent relationship, and I feel like Lydia never has the best intent. I know this sounds terrible for me to say, but I just feel like she has ulterior motives for her kids. Like her kids are her money makers, and she wants to like pimp them out to the highest bidder. And even in this episode, when she was talking to Pedro, I was just like, see, you went back, you took me back all the way to season 1 where I was like, oh, you're just a full-on gold digger and you're using your kids to do your dirty work. It's terrible. So all that being said, Alejandro goes back to the office, to Nicole's office, but this time he doesn't go inside. He waits for her outside. In my mind, I was like, oh, did you also not put on like 5 layers of cologne this time? Because we know how you are with your colognes, which I guess he put a little less on this time. But he's not giving up because he wants to be with Nicole. He wants to be with her. He wants to fight for their love, all the things. So he's waiting outside. She comes out. He's like, how are you? And the first thing she says is, those flowers are ugly. Now, when I tell you last episode and this episode, Nicole has brought her telenovela to 1000. If you've ever watched a telenovela, that's Nicole right now. Like she's bringing her full on acting skills to a T and just making everything so super dramatic. So Alejandro's like, I came from afar for you. I want to be with you. She's like, who told you to come? And he's like, I want to reconcile with you. There's no reconciliation. He's like, well, at least take the flowers. And she takes the flowers, all telenovela like, and slams them on the ground. Um, and says, "These are garbage flowers." And then, so now we're going to do more. We're going to be really extra with it. She walks to her car. He's not going to let her go in the car. Let's go for coffee. She's like, "No, there's no solution. I don't care. You can talk to the devil." I was like, "Okay, you can talk to the devil. Calm down, Nicole. Like, calm all the way down." And he's like, "I've done all of this and I want to be with you. I even called your friend Karima." And she's like, "That's annoying. You calling my friends is annoying." And I'm like, "Nicole, everything you're doing right now is annoying. You're being so extra with it right now. Like, let's take it down 4 notches. S'il vous plaît." Um, so then Nicole's like, "My mom is right about everything about you. You're not worth it. And if I married you, it would be the biggest mistake of my life." And she goes on to say, my mom doesn't like you, and I'm not going to fight with her because she doesn't like you. And so what that says to me is, hey, Nicole, it's not because you don't want to be with him. You're saying that you're not being with him because of your mom, and your mom lives vicariously through you. So your mom wants you to be this beauty queen representing everyone so she can tell the whole Dominican Republic how beautiful her daughter is. You didn't win, so then you're disappointed in yourself because you didn't win, even though you came in the top 10 or whatever. And now you have this man who might not be perfect, but is trying to put in the work and loves you, but you're not going to be with him because, according to your mom, he's not good enough for you. Your mom wants you to have like some millionaire, so, and especially an American millionaire, so that again she has plan B. She already has Pedro plopped in America. Now she has to have Nicole plopped in America so her 2 kids can take care of her and she can have a house, like she said, that Pedro can buy her house in America. Not to mention that she talks too fast, like a rap song featuring Twista. She does talk really, really fast. I talk fast sometimes, you guys, when I have a lot to say, but Nicole talks really, really fast. Like sometimes I'm like, whoa, what happened? All right. So they're going this tit for tat back and forth in the car. Let me in the car. I'm not letting you in the car. Finally, she gets in the car. He's like, "Open the door." She opens the trunk. I thought that was hilarious. And if they wanted to make it totally 100% a complete telenovela, Alejandro should have jumped in the trunk because that would have been funny for all of us. But she takes off, but she doesn't really take off, you guys. She drives like half a second down the road. She rolls down her window, and of course she's going to let him in because she really wants to be with him. And plus, I don't really believe that they're broken up. I feel like this is all bullshit for drama. So she finally lets him in the back seat. Alejandro is trying to take responsibility for his actions. So Nicole's willing to listen to him now, which, 5 seconds ago she was making this huge dramatic scene. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm going to listen to him because he's going to take responsibility for his actions. Okay, Nicole. Alejandro's like, "I came to fight for our love. Fight for our love." And goes on to say, I am being dramatic right now because I want to fit in with this episode. He's like, "I know you're reluctant, but at least you have the grace to hear me out. I acknowledge my failures, but I truly love you. I want to be with you. I want to fight for our life. Fight for our love." Okay, I'm done. Nicole, she's reluctant and she's asking questions. She's like, "But are you really divorced? You've been saying you're divorced these whole 2 years. I haven't seen any paperwork." And again, like, let's not take it back to the divorce business. Like, we're past that storyline. So goodbye. Alejandro's like, "You know what? I know you're worried and I know you're reluctant. So let's just take it step by step. Let's be slow with this. I'm here for a few more days. I want to see you, spend time with you, and show you how much I've changed." Um, and Nicole is exactly what I said. She's mad, but she misses him. And she says if my family wasn't in the middle, she'd give him a second chance. First of all, second chance of what? You're still with him. This is all BS. This is all BS. You're still with him. You're making up this story. I don't care if your mom doesn't like him. You like him. You want to be here with him, and you're still with him. And that's that, period. No one's changing my mind on that. She's still with them. This is all BS. But she's like, I need to get my mind together. I need to really understand what I want to do. I just really need some time. So I'll think about it and I'll get back to you, okay? And Alejandro's not giving up. He's like, relationships are like a flower. They need water, they need sun, and they need work. Yes, Nicole, you're budding flower. Good luck with that. Crystal says I was only okay with the car scene because I've already felt that they hadn't broke up and she wants to be with him. Yeah, I've been saying, Crystal, I've been saying that since the beginning of the season. They're not broken up. This is all for the drama. Period. It's all for the drama. And if you don't believe me, go back to the scene where he's giving her the flowers and watch her slap it out of his hand and him start laughing. That's not something you listen. The disrespect that Nicole gives him, the amount of disrespect that she gives him right now, no dude's putting up with that. No person is putting up with that. The way she like cusses him out and says all the mean, nasty things and all the things, I'd be like, bye. Clearly, you don't want to be with me. Bye. But it fuels the drama. It fuels the show. It fuels the entertainment. So here we are. We're back in Atlanta. Chantel comes home from work, and her and Pedro haven't spoken all day. They're not talking, and like the tension, you can feel it. Like, who wants to come home and walk around and not be talking to your significant other? Like, who wants that? But she decides that she's going to make him dinner, which is a frozen pizza. At least she's trying, right? And so she's like, we may not be talking and we might be, not on good terms, but you see I'm still making you dinner, right? And then they go back and forth and they're fighting about who's being mean to whom, um, who's not talking to whom. And they talk about like, how are you doing? No one says how you're doing anymore. We don't talk anymore. And Pedro is like, you know what? Don't come up with me with the bullshit. And then she's like, don't come at me with disrespect. And that's how I felt. I was like, don't come at her with disrespect. Why are you so angry with her? It cannot be about cooking and cleaning. It cannot be that. And it's convenient for you that you guys are at your 5, 6, 7 year plan. And Pedro, you can get your citizenship and you've gotten your green card and now you have your career and making a little coin. And all of a sudden your attitude is pure shit. Is pure shit. Okay. And now you can go step off and do whatever you want to do. Be out till 3 a.m. drinking with your coworker friends, bringing Antoinette here, there, left, and everywhere, but you're not paying attention to your relationship. It takes two people to be in a relationship. It takes two people to be in a marriage. And guess what? Marriages are hard work, and you have to be in it. You can't just be, hey, this is me and I'm doing what I want to do. And if you ask where I am, it's none of your business. It's garbage. It's totally garbage. It's totally garbage. Totally garbage. I'm just not impressed with any of it. And I'm not impressed with every time I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about Karen and her saying how, Lydia and Pedro were trying to harvest the American dollar. It brings back the memories of Lydia having that website where it was all about catching American women, all the fights that they had over money, the prenups, all the things. It's all coming back to me now. And it's like, I said it last week and I'm going to say it this week. It sounds like the long con to me. It's like the long con to me. You get everything you want, and now all of a sudden your wife is terrible and you're gonna just treat her like shit so that you can get out of this marriage, which you got everything you needed. And she even said, seems to me like you got everything you wanted. You got a career, you got your green card, and all of a sudden you're checked out. Sounds about right. And he didn't say, no, that's not true. Did he? He didn't say, no, that's not true. He said that he felt like she was treating him like property and he was sick of hearing it. But he did not say, no, that's not true. I love you, but here's my issues. Didn't say any of that. He just was like, ridiculous. So mad. You got the visa, you got the money, you got the job. Now you can fly the coop. Pedro. Pedro. Oh, oh. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's talk about the Antonella stuff. I'm not going to get into too much of it until Friday News and Gossip, you guys. If you are part of my Patreon, you will get all that tea there. But Antonella is an issue, right? That's his coworker. He talks about her a lot. He spends a lot of time with her. Chantel comes out and asks him directly, are you cheating on me? Now, I don't know about y'all, but go back and watch that scene on the couch where he pauses and stutters. Did I stutter? Yes, you did. Pauses and stutters and then says, no, I'm not cheating on you. Well, what's the pause and the stutter for? Why do you have to think about it? And why are you stuttering? People who pause and stutter is because you're lying. That stumble was huge, you guys. So then he goes and says, no, I'm not cheating. I'm just spending time with my friends and my coworkers. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. And we'll talk about it on Friday. We head over to Winter. Winter is dating. Winter is, coming into herself, being her own woman and getting comfortable with her new body and her new self-confidence and new dating and all the things. And, she talks about how she was in that long-term relationship from 19, so she hadn't really dated. So now she just wants to like be out there and date. And I think that that's a great idea. But I said it last week and I'm going to say it this week. River loves her some African men. And, I don't blame her. Us Africans. But not specifically only Africans. She loves the Nigerians. And one of the things that I do know about Atlanta, there are a specific group of American women that only like to date Nigerian men. It's a thing. I heard about it. And, that whole, I'll say it, once you go black, you'll never go back. And when you saw Mama Karen and Chantel talking about, oh, the chocolate, that whole thing, they got down. They got down sometimes before they got married. They got down too. Karen says, simmer, simmer. So, Chantel's learning it's the baby leg. Nisi says Winter should find a Nigerian man in the U.S. Well, that's what she did. That's who this Chris guy is. Chris is a Nigerian American. So she has found herself a Nigerian American, and she's all about that life right now. She's got the butterflies. She's doing the flirting. She had her touche all cooked up while she was doing rock climbing. She's about that life. So, I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her for putting herself out there. It's not easy to date. And, she met this Chris guy on a Christian dating site. And, she's taking her time. She's dating. Back at the Dominican Republic. And I just want to say how ridiculous this is. So Nicole has done a complete 360. Okay. So just 5 minutes ago, you guys, we saw the tantrum she had, the car situation, the flower situation, all the situations. And now she's driving in her car talking about how nice it is that someone shows you affection and how nice it is that they fly over to see you. Didn't you just say 5 minutes ago no one told you to come here? That you didn't want to see him or spend time with him? And now 5 seconds later, you have this quick 2 bite dinner and all of a sudden you're back in love. Oh, could it be because you guys were never broken up? Could it be that? Because you did a full 360 in less than 5 minutes. She talks about how much she misses Alejandro, but she's scared of her mom because her mom hates him and her brother doesn't talk to her because of him. So she's scared to get back with him. And she says that the reason why they don't like him is because he's controlling. And again, you guys, I've always said this and I'll say it again, especially when you're in a marriage, your issues have, like, it's fine to talk to people and get their opinions, but really your issues are your issues and you should deal with your issues within your own relationship, right? Because you take it, unless you need professional help, all the stuff that you tell other people, they're just going to hold it against that person, and that's what happens. And guess what? You never end up leaving or whatever the case may be. It was a small fight and then you're over it, but your peoples aren't over it. And I just think it's like terrible. Like, just too many spoons in the pot, you know? Like, just be in your relationship. And if you need help, then ask for help. But besides that, all this like chatter and talk, it's detrimental. It's detrimental, I think. Anyway, she gets home. She says she doesn't want to lie to her mom, because her mom is very intuitive and can see through her lies. Yet she doesn't say anything, right? So you're lying by omission, really. She's like, I feel guilty. If Lydia knew that Alejandro was back in town and that she just came back from dinner with him, um, she would call her stupid and disappointed, tell her she had no brain, that she was a liar, and he's not worth it, and all the ugly words that Nicole is not ready to hear. Now, let's just think about all of that, you guys. Let's think about all of that. Think about how words are powerful, right? And that's why I have been saying that I'm not quite sure, because mothers and daughters can always be close, right? If you're so lucky to have that type of relationship, then so be it. But I feel like Lydia and Nicole have this weird codependent situation going on, like I keep saying. And for Lydia to say all those mean things, and we've heard her say some mean things, uh, to Nicole, those are words that she's going to remember, and she's clearly remembering them. And that's why she doesn't want to be open and honest with you, because you're going to tell her how stupid she is and how she has no brain and she's a liar. You're disappointed. And, children take that to heart, and words are powerful. And so I just feel bad for this situation, because it's clear that Lydia is also controlling, right? So you guys are complaining that Alejandro is controlling over Nicole. Well, Lydia is also controlling over Nicole as well. And I would say even more so. Right? Where is Lydia's man? Lydia would not be up in everyone's business if she had her own man to deal with. Thank you very much. So, Nicole's upset. She doesn't know what to do. She feels like she has no balance in her life, because she feels she's going to have to choose between Alejandro and her family. And she doesn't know what she wants to do, because she clearly wants to be with Alejandro, but she doesn't want to disappoint her mom. Lydia needs a man. The Photoshop ad Nicole made her won't work. That was funny, actually. So we go back to the Atlanta. Pedro's bitching about Chantel, saying how she's hard on him, yada yada yada. I think Pedro really needs to look at again what the real issues are. Um, and he's like, I put my mom and sister in the dump in the Dominican Republic. Like I chose the family Chantel, and she doesn't see that. And I'm like, but Pedro, I don't see that right now either. I feel like you're choosing just you and being selfish right now, and you're only thinking about yourself. So you say you chose Chantel, you say you chose the family Chantel, but what is this that's happening right now? And then you guys, when he called his mom, this is everything that I've been saying. Okay. This took me again back to season one. When the mom's like, "Oh, how are you doing? Where are you? What are you doing?" He's selling a house. He's showing a house. What's the first thing that she asked, you guys? It's the first thing she asked. How much is the house? What's the second thing she asked? What's your cut? Then sits in front of the camera and talks about how she's really proud of her son because this new job gives him status, and Pedro can take her to the US now, and Pedro can also buy me a house. Now, where in any of that did it have to do with Pedro? Sounds to me like it has all to do with Lydia. Lydia wants to know how much money that she's going to be making. She wants to know when she's coming to the US. She wants to know when Pedro's buying her house. Blah 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 blah. The whole plan to get her son to America so her son can give her a better life. So her son can be like, he's the man of the house. And like everyone in the live chat is saying, where is her own man? And isn't she an attorney? Shouldn't she be just making her own money? And shouldn't she be on any type of Christian dating site herself? Because what she's doing right now, again, the long con is 100%. It 100% is that, you guys, and it has to do with has to be do with her own selfish ways, vicariously living through her children and making her children her workers. And for lack of better term, I got to tell you, it's almost like, yeah, she is a sex trafficker because she's trafficking out her two children to the highest bidders for her own worth, for her own benefit, for making money for herself so that she can be taken care of, and not in the right way. Yeah, we all want to take care of our parents, but not in this way where you're using a whole family. You're using your child. You want to know what monies, where monies, and how he's going to bring you to America and how he's going to buy you a house. Okay, Lydia. Okay. So then guess what? She's back at making cracks in their marriage. So Pedro says, things aren't good in his relationship with Chantel. And guess what? Mama Lydia says Chantel's the problem. She's selfish. She doesn't want you to advance. What? First of all, you don't have a relationship with Chantel, so you don't know what she's doing or not doing. Second of all, how dare you sit there and say that she doesn't want you to advance? You aren't the one that's been in this relationship while those two were on the grind to get where they were. What you were doing is sitting on your butt in the Dominican Republic, waiting for Pedro to send money back home so you can be taken care of. So how dare you say that about Chantel? I was so mad when I heard that. I was so mad, y'all. Facts. Crystal said she stirred the pot. She's encouraging him, and that's what he's wanted her to do. His family has just been waiting for him to fall out with Chantel and the family again. Hey, Becca. Becca says, I was sus when they bought a 5-bedroom house, just waiting for Nicole and Lydia to move in. Facts. So Lydia's like, Chantel's the problem. And what does Lydia say? Leave her. Leave her. And here's the part that just, I was like, oh, see, you're so fucking bitter. You're a bitter Betty. So you know how Lydia's never had a husband? And you know how Pedro's dad just left her in the lurch with like 2 kids? He had a full on family. She's still bitter about that. She says to Pedro to leave Chantel and let her be left without a husband. And I was like, that comment says more about you than anything else. Because guess what? You're the one that's left without a husband, and you are so bitter about it that you don't want anyone else to have that same happiness. How about Lydia? You spend time worrying about your own damn self and your own life, and maybe don't put out relationship advice, because when we look at your previous relationships and your track record, clearly you're not the expert to come to. It's not like your mama Karen and Thomas have been married for plenty of years. You weren't even married. You were the side chick, and you got left as the side chick. And now your son is having problems in his marriage, and the first thing you want to say is leave her, because that was your plan the whole time. You never wanted your son to fall in love because it was a long con the whole time. You wanted your son to go to America, to have the American dream, to make money, to get this status, to bring you over, to support you, to buy you a house so you can kick it in America, living off your son's back. Terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. When you said that she could be left without a husband, I was like, what do you know about a husband? You ain't even got a husband, Lydia. Take several seats. Thank you very much. It's terrible. Who says that? What rotten, nasty, bitter mother gives that advice? Unless you're in a dire situation and things are terrible, you're talking about the long con. That's what you're doing. You don't even care about the welfare of the relationship. You're thinking money, 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 money. So we go back to Atlanta, and Karen pops in unannounced to the house. Chantel's upset about it. She's upset that River and Karen talked to Pedro behind her back without talking to her first. And even to this day, Chantel's still trying to preserve the sanctity and the privacy of her relationship. She's still trying to protect Pedro because she knows how long and how hard they fought to get to a great relationship with the family Chantel. And so she knows that if her family finds out how fucked up Pedro's going to be or has been, they're going to side with her and things are going to go back to they were from day one. And that's what she's trying to avoid, right? And even in all the terrible stuff that Pedro says and does to her, she's still protecting him, and he doesn't see that. And she just really doesn't want the family to hate him. And so she's like, you know what, Mom, we need boundaries. We need boundaries. You can't come to my house, talk to my husband, unannounced and do all that. And Mama Karen says, you know what? I'm doing my mother duties. I'm doing my mother-in-law duties, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I don't speak boundaries. Facts. So I think Mama Karen needs to get involved. I can't explain it to you guys, but I just haven't felt that even more, because you have Pedro acting a fool, and then you have sabotage by Mama Lydia. You have Nicole running amok, having her own issues with Mother Lydia. So I just really think that they need someone on their side. And I know that Karen and Thomas and even their whole family, Chantel, they want the family to be happy. They want the kids to be happy. And that's their bottom line. There's no other ulterior motive. You know, can they be a little bit nosy and in each other's businesses? Yeah, but they're a close knit family, and I get it. Right. But there's no malice there. And that's what I'm seeing from the Mama Lydia side. I'm seeing malice and just pure evil, like evil ways. Like you're trying to break up your son's marriage for your own selfish reasons. It just doesn't make sense to me. Hey, Marcia. Stevie says, You know you can't tell Mama Karen what to do, silly Chantel. Those are facts, and I'm not mad at her. Go ahead, Karen. Go ahead, Karen. What I would do, what I would give to know what was going on in Mama Karen's head when she heard Pedro filed for divorce. Listen, listen, Pedro better go and get all the legal help he can from Mama Lydia because Karen is going to come guns a blazing. They're going to have the best legal representation in all of Atlanta. And for the simple fact of I'm thinking that it was the long con, Karen is absolutely thinking the same thing. And no one's going to pull a fast one on Mama Karen. Period. Period. Anyways, you guys, that was the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for being here. And let me know if you're watching the replay. Are you Team Pedro or are you Team Chantel? Team Pedro, Team Chantel. Let's start that. Hashtag Team Pedro, hashtag Team Chantel. And we'll talk about it next week. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.